Hey, well, I guess it's time for me to get unpopular again. This is a subject that is beginning to impact all of our lives more and more and more. And it's not based on science, it's not based on judgment, it's not based on justice, and it's not based on fairness. It's not based on right and wrong, and it's certainly not based on Christian beliefs. But it's going to impact us all, and the more that we sit back and be open about it, as they have now taken. I remember when I used to be able to say that I was in a gay mood, and now I can't. Otherwise I might get attention from people that I'm not interested in. So we've lost the word open. They're using that for saying anyone who takes on the narrative about gender. Now, what I'm about to say now will be judged. Sorry, I'm driving as well. It will be judged in some countries as hate speech, hate talk. And all that I'm going to say is that my belief is that there are two genders, and this is borne out over thousands of years by the arrangement that we have between a man and a woman. Now, it just seems so obvious, doesn't it? You need a man and you need a woman, and you need to go through the act that they were designed for. Remember that I did a little video about nuts and bolts? This is nuts and bolts. It is a fact that a woman cannot procreate on her own, neither can a man, and they need each other. Now, even allowing for the fact that there's always been a battle of the sexes, and feminists would have you believe that they don't need a man to complete them. Well, of course, in a personal sense, they don't, any more than a man needs a woman to complete him. But in order to continue to perpetuate the human race, we need them to do what they were designed to do, and that is get together. It's made for pleasure, because if it was only hard work, there wouldn't be any more kids on the planet, would there? So, why am I saying that it's beginning to impact all of us? I just watched a video which apparently was made I think it was 2019, when a young man at secondary modern school was expelled for standing up to a teacher and saying that he believed that they were only two genders, a male and a female. And this was in Scotland. You can see this video and see what happened. The boy knew that a confrontation was coming because he'd been told to step outside the class when he stated that he questioned what the teacher was saying. The teacher was talking about gender and how there were so many genders. The boy stood up and said, but my understanding is scientifically that there are only two genders. And the boy is told, you have a moment now where you can take that back. He refused, and he was asked to step outside the class. Knowing, having an intuition on what was coming, he actually recorded the conversation that he then had with the teacher, where the teacher berated him for contradicting the idea that there were, I think I've heard as many as 100 genders. So the boy refused to step down, but he posted the video, and as a result of that, the school stepped back and just said, well, you're just not going to be in class for a little while. And this went on for, I believe, look at the video, I believe it went on for a few weeks until the school believed that the fuss on social media had died down. So then they told him, sorry, you've been expelled, don't come back again. Now, that boy never regretted standing up for what he believed was the truth. But it's an indication about how all of this is going to impact us who are of the belief that there are two genders only and don't believe in all of this trans thing. We're going to be affected, and we're going to be affected in extremely serious ways. Our freedoms are going to be curtailed even more, taken away even more. As the boy, when he was interviewed, I think recently, fairly recently, he said that what he was observing was that there are certain subjects which you cannot question, whereas previously, if you're in school and you don't understand, if you want to say up, if you want to get up and say, I don't understand how 2 and 2 makes 4, they'll explain it to you, and they'll validate the fact that you've stood up and questioned something, because now they know that you don't understand, and they'll make it so that you do understand. So this has disappeared for certain subjects which contradict the narrative which is being pushed on us. We're not allowed to speak up. Now, this is being felt all over education. Now, whether it's, I doubt that it's in the Philippines yet, but as far as the UK, as far as America, they're certainly undergoing some very trying times. You don't have to take my word for this. I'm not giving my opinion, I'm making an observation which is based on the various reports. How the woman stood up in the teachers' parents meeting, and she stood up and she said that she didn't agree with drags, people, men in drag, teaching or talking and telling stories to her child, and she wanted to know what was appropriate and what was not. And then, to make her point, she had dressed in an extremely sexy, revealing cocktail dress, and she stood up, and the board told her that this was not appropriate, and yet they were telling her that it was appropriate for a man in a sexually inappropriate dress to stand up and teach her child. So it's coming, and I think it has to be fought, and I'll be made wrong because I'm not open. Well, I didn't want to make this too long, but I did want to make my point. So thanks for listening.